Hello, hello, and welcome, my Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your What Do I Need read for this full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo, September 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, fellow Earth sign, the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons, but your dad just calls me Mal. Bam! Hi! My subscribers, welcome back. My followers, whatever you guys want to call yourselves, malcontents, whatever, whoever, my community, I love you all so much. I'm very, very happy to be doing these reads for you, and thank you so much for your love, support, your comments, and all of that stuff. It's just helping people find me and allowing them to take a taste of what I do best. If you're new to my channel, please do consider doing the same. Liking, subscribing, commenting, all of that stuff helpful. And because my schedule has been getting a little bit crazy with private reads, and I'm actually going to be taping a TV show, TV show, public access, Phoenix Rising, here on Long Island with my friend Phoenix Red Hawk. Going to be pulling some cards, asking me about what I think about what's going on planet Earth and what my cards have to say and all that. So you might want to hit the notification bell, because you never know, we're going to be putting out stuff, plus with upload times, right? Sometimes things aren't ready until later in the day, and then it takes 3 hours for them to upload, so it's a crapshoot. But hey, that's life in the tube of you, right? Let's get down to business. This is a What Do I Need read, going to the divine, asking them what you need for a specific amount of time, a 2-week period, a waning moon, from the full moon in Pisces on the 2nd of September to the new moon in Virgo on the 17th of September. Now, the thing is, this is Eastern Daylight Time, by the way. The moon goes full at 1:22 a.m. on the 2nd, so you might want to do your magic the day before if you want the waxing side of that full moon energy. Otherwise, it's a little early in the morning to be up. I mean, I could pull it off, but not everybody does, particularly, I believe it's a weekday. When is the 2nd? That is a Wednesday. Yeah. So 1:22 a.m. on a Wednesday maybe not be the best time to be casting circle or whatever it is that you do, but just be aware of it. Tuesday night you can get away with that. A little bit more time. Same thing with the new moon. It's at 7:02 a.m. in Virgo, but then it goes void of course 40 minutes later. It's a little early in the day. Very short window of time to do new moon magic, but it will be going into Libra at 2:56 p.m. So you can still use the new moon energy, but it's more in Libra at that point. Cool. So what we're doing, like I said, we're going to ask the divine what it is that you need from this period of time. What I call an 8-card draw, just picking 8 different cards. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. 7 oracles, 1 healing tool, essentially, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess 6 oracles, because I'm double dipping with the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. And the healing tool is the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck, which I love. All right, so let's do this. Focus on your breath. Remember, this is a general read. These are clues, tips, and hints. Sometimes they're all linked together. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're all pieces of one particular thing to deal with. But over a 2-week period of time, this could be like landmarks, right? Clues, tips, and hints along the magical, mystical journey of life on planet Earth. For the Taurians this time, shall we? Remember to breathe, because it's the best part. Shifts me right into from exposition to divination. Here we go. Breathe. All the decks that I read are in the description box all the way at the bottom. There's some cool links on the way. Let's do this. We're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype deck. What is the dominant archetype according to my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved? What is the dominant archetype for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign that they will be dealing within themselves, within another, within a situation, but they need to deal with this full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo, September 2020. Ooh, well, the Queen, Your Majesty. I love the Queen archetype, even though hell on earth in the shadow attribute becomes arrogant when authority is challenged. The hell you say? Queen, please. Controlling and demanding. Nah. Off with their heads! The light attribute, however, radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. Both two sides of RuPaul. We've said Scorpio, not shocked. Love her though. Love her dearly. Bless her heart. Met her once. Stunning. So that queen archetype might be you. Might be someone you're dealing with. I feel like for some of you, you might be dealing with that in someone else, or maybe one where the queen archetype in a situation itself, right? Because it's, look at the stories that you're in. I mean, when particularly a character like the queen comes up in a reading archetypally, I can't help it. I'm like, okay, what fairy tale is this? Like, what story is this? Because there are so many evil, wicked queens, but where are the good queens, or the good queens, the nice ones? Something to think about. I know, Sleeping Beauty, everybody says that, but she wasn't like she had a major role. It's the Disney ones, the moms are usually gone by the time the opening credits start rolling. So that's the archetype you need to be aware of, right? To alchemize from lead to gold in some way, shape, or form. Let's see, what is the angel you need to call upon from my angels and archangels? Breathe. Oh, my angels and my archangels, please, one card in clarity. Who is the healing angel that they need to call upon this full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo for this Taurus collective sun, moon, rising Venus sign, September, October 2020, that they are somehow dealing with the queen archetype? What healing angel can help them do that this full moon to new moon next September 2020? Study. Now, what would the angel of study do? Make you study? Well, it might actually guide you to things of interest in which to focus upon for your own education. I mean, look, a lot book reading ain't everything, right? It's like I've been saying, like, I could read every cookbook in the world until I actually put torch to sugar. I cannot make creme brulee. Wisdom, right? Wisdom comes from experience. But to study the queen archetype in and of itself, I had to make a study of the queen archetype in and of itself. Why? Because I have the queen archetype. I thought I only had it Kairos. It would come and go. No, 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 no. I got that thing Kronos from, like, my mom is a queen archetype. It's literally born through and to a woman with a dominant queen archetype. That's why I call her Hera. Right? So I had to study that, because in its shadow, you might be lopping people's heads off or dealing with somebody, right? So wouldn't it make sense to educate yourself on the queen archetype? I mean, this is Carolyn Mace's archetype deck, but her work in Sacred Contracts, her website alone, her work on archetypes is just exemplary. I adore her. She is my favorite female spiritual teacher. Well, not that I have to classify, but right now Matt Kahn is sort of at the masculine side of that too. And they're just so very balanced in some way. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because I considered Carolyn Mace, I mean, she's a woman, but such a genius intellect, very divine masculine. And Matt Kahn, the love revolution, right? Just love your heart every day, and I do. So it's an interesting interplay there. So, you know, we have such a range of teachers where now we can get it on our phone. We used to have to, like, shave our heads and change our names and leave our families and walk thousands of miles, or, you know, camp outside the Alexandrian libraries. They burned that sucker down, right? And now it's all on our phones. So have at it. You need to study, according to the angels, or call upon the angel of study. Let's ask an angel, Archangel Michael, who I love. What is the truth you need to be aware of? Can he just the Archangel of Truth? I mean, all the angels are supposed to be about truth. But he's the one with that sword of truth, so breathe. Oh, God, he's so gorgeous. Please, Archangel Michael, my honor to be in your presence and to be one with you. Please, one card in clarity for this Taurus collective sun, moon, rising Venus sign. What do they need from your point of view, from your light, from your protection, from your archangelic resources? This full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo, September 2020. Oromasis, O-R-O-M-A-S-I-S, purification. Fire. Sorry, was that an evil laugh? excuse me, without an evil laugh, card number 43, Oromasis 43. Now, let me keep my mouth shut for a hot second. Somebody said to me last night, they were talking about their living will. And they said, I just want a moment of silence, and you are the last person in the world that I should ask for a moment of silence. The moon was in Scorpio. That was a nice laugh. Number 43, Oromasis, Oromasis, purification-fire. Now, I'm not familiar with the word Oromasis, but there you have it. Many unexpressed thoughts and emotions which have been stored over time remain locked inside you. Well, Archangel Michael used that sword, why don't you? Pointy, pointy, nointy, nointy. These include past disappointments, fear and worry, feelings of inadequacy and guilt. Nothing serious, just remnants of life's experiences. And I'm down with that. I get that, right? The detritus, the stuff that maybe we haven't processed through 100% consciously, right? Still might be hanging out in the dusty corners. Go get the psychological psychic Q-tip, right? It is a time to release these emotions and to purify your thoughts. You don't need to analyze things and relive the past. Just acknowledge that you have a whole lot of baggage that you would like to clear. Look, don't come for me. Come for Archangel Michael. It's his book. Then imagine a brilliant flame of light transforming and purifying your emotional and physical body. Feel yourself being cleansed and healed, and feel the sense of freedom that comes as a result of this purification. We're not done here, but hold on a second. So get that this is part of the study about you being a Taurus, about holding on to things physically that we don't even realize because it is at a cellular level. We're not aware of our cellular consciousness usually until there's pain. Physical pain, but in emotional, come on, when you're feeling your emotions, there's a reason why we call it heartbreak. Right? Although when I cry, my nose burns and my third eye does wobble, 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 right? So we're all different. We all have different nervous systems that way. But that we carry this stuff with us, not to mention the biological consequences of emotion. Really seriously. Like serotonin and dopamine and what's the stress hormone? I always forget the name of the stress hormone. It's cortisol, right? It sounds like something you rub on your leg. There's a lot of chemistry, right, in our emotions. So we do carry this stuff within us. I just think that's hysterical. Just acknowledge that you have a whole lot of baggage that you would like to clear. Okay, I'll acknowledge that. It's so funny. Oh, I love Archangel Michael. Feel yourself being cleansed and healed, and feel the sense of freedom that comes as a result of this purification. Feel the peace, joy, and love. So here's the prayer. I pray for love to guide me, to illuminate my heart and mind, so that I may feel the sacred flame of light within my soul. Oh. I want Archangel Michael to be my boyfriend, and if not that, my occasional snuggle bunny. bunny, either. I'm okay with it. He's so wonderful. But, divine beings, they do tend to be wonderful. People have said they're awesome, but the true meaning of awesome is when you see them, you go, and your head explodes. So, be careful with that word. Course in Miracles says the word awe should be reserved for God. I agree. Awesome. It's a taco. It's great. Is it awesome? Does it strike you with terror and fear of the brilliance of the divine? Let's ask Kuan Yin. Let's ask Kuan Yin, the Kuan Yin Oracle. I may cry. These cards make me cry. Deal. Cope. What it is that you need from her, right? Right? Let's just do it. Oh, this feels so good. This is like getting high at work. Oh, so much better than the twin flame reads too. Oh my God, those were a nightmare. Helpful, truthful, but a nightmare. Please, my Kuan Yin, I love you so much. Oh, I bow my head even though I don't have to. She doesn't ask that I bow. None of us do. She loves us too much for that kind of stuff. Please, Kuan Yin, one card in clarity. For this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign for this full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo. What is it they need from you? Your wisdom, your guidance, your grace for this full moon to new moon next. Pisces to Virgo, please. I feel you, right? We got the Queen archetype going on here with study and with this purification by fire. What is your guidance and grace for this Taurus, this new moon to full moon next? Call of the dancing crane. Did you get a call? Yeah, it was from a dancing crane. I'm sorry, I'm a smart ass. I have a worse word for that. I won't say it on YouTube. Card number 4, the call of the dancing crane, which some serious nippleage going on there, just saying. I really do. By the way, the Archangel Michael deck, the Kuan Yin Oracle, and the Whispers of Love, which will be the last card down, all by the same company, the Blue Angel Publishing. I would do a deck with them. They seem wonderful. But we are going to read from the book. Now, there's a lot, as I said, in these books. I'm just going to take from the beginning and the end and whatever else they guide me to. Call of the dancing crane. Dancing crane moves through waters and muddy marsh with elegance and grace. It connects to the Queen archetype. The mating call and the dance of the crane is full of beautiful moments, movement and flow. There are times when the astral waters of our emotional life become stagnant and will benefit from the healing movement, grace, and beauty of the dancing crane. The call of the dancing crane is a reminder that sound can be a healing too. This is particularly so when your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns do not support you in living the spiritual destiny you were born to live. There's a really large paragraph after this, and I'm getting the guidance to do it, so bear with me. I'll also end with the prayer at the end. Is it a really, really long one? What do we care? It's YouTube. Is there no prayer? Oh, there it is. Yes, there is. Okay, good. All right, we're going to read this. So you got it. Sort of that idea of the crane moves through water and mud and everything very, very gracefully. I don't know what this move is, but there it is, right? Very much the Queen. This might be a study, right? This might be something that you're learning how to do during the purification by fire, right? Have you ever felt like you were a different person on holidays or when you were traveling? Absolutely. Different archetypes in play. This is because you were free of the astral gravity that you usually live within on a day-to-day basis. Fascinating. Taurus, fascinating. In other words, you have fixed patterns, a gravitational field of kind, and we all do, but like earth signs, we kind of live for that, don't we? Like that stability, that same old, but it's very earth sign. The astral plane is like glue. When we put enough energy of habit into thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and stories from our past that condition how we interpret current life experiences, we can get stuck in astral gravity, unable to let go of ways of thinking and reacting, even if we really wish to do so, with really, really long sentences. But that absolutely it points right to what Archangel Michael was pointing his pointy sword at the emotional baggage here. That density, that gravity. Okay, I get it. I get what that's about, right? The call of the dancing crane is about freeing yourself from that. So a prayer to the call of the dancing crane. Say the prayer through me, Kuan Yin, if you like. Beloved Kuan Yin, goddess calling through the dancing crane, may your sound, grace, and light shine brighter than my doubt or fear. May your light help my own soul draw near. May I surrender that which no longer serves me with unconditional love and replace it with inspiration of your divine love. Om Shanti. I am peace. Om Shanti. Instead of Om Mani Padme Hum, which is how most of these end. Om Shanti. Wow. Now, like I said, there are exercises and other stuff in this book, and I'm not going to read the entire book to you. That's ridiculous for reading. But I do kind of get that thing with the Queen, right? Radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. So maybe that's something you can learn from this, develop within yourself, even if you're not the Queen archetype dealing with the Queen. Just keep swimming, but, throw a little shoulder in there. Well, not too much. That's called a body check. Well, this is really lovely. Let's keep going, because nice foundation here, right? The Queen. Angels are saying study. Archangel Michael, purification by fire, dumping emotional baggage, and Kuan Yin really saying that you can kind of move through this, right? That you can move through this gracefully in both an emotional and a physical way. That astral glue, what a fascinating way of looking at that. Break it up, mix it up a little bit. So let's see what the problem is. The Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, the next 3 decks, technically these two are one deck, but divided them in half. The problem here, we're going to look at what's the problem, and we're going to look at, if you like, the remedy, the healing, the luck, or the grace to balance it out, to heal it this full moon to new moon next. Breathe. Oh, my ascended masters, hi, please. One card in clarity. What's the problem for the Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, right? What is the problem? It's a grain of sand in the belly of the oyster that creates wisdom. Great. An irritant, though. What's the problem they need to be aware of this full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo, September 2020, please, my ascended masters? Just leave it in my hand. What is the problem that they need to be aware of this new moon to full moon next? Loss. Now look, loss here. Can we have some emotional baggage on loss? How can we not? Who is taught, at least in the Western world, how to deal with loss properly? Which, that's different for everybody, too. It's not like there's one way to do it, right? So even if your family, very, very interesting people that I come from. Irish, German, British, Scottish, the calm ones on one side of the family, and the Sicilians on the other, right? I'm truly a Long Island boy, right? Well, there's Irish and Canadian French on there too, which sort of mellows it a little bit, Canadian French, thank God. Got a touch of that in there. They're so cute. Oh my God, can you imagine? Those men in Canada, so handsome, and good healthcare. Just saying, marry me. Yeah. We've all experienced loss. Who processes that well? That's why I bring up my genetic heritage. It's like none of them dealt with it. Hey, take the time that you need to really cry your eyes out. And here, do you need help? No, it was either really dramatic or completely repressed, right? And a mix of both for all of us, I would think, depending on how you were raised. So that we might be carrying, some unprocessed grief in our systems from loss. Loss comes from grief. But I learned this from a TED Talk, that anxiety is repressed grief. And if you think that through just psychologically, we're so afraid of loss that we don't want to feel the loss, or we don't process the grief of loss. And so there's this fear, this anxiety that's really about loss. It makes total sense. Now, I am not a psychologist. I don't even play one on YouTube. But I will say, as a reader, that do make a lot of sense. And saying that you're carrying it in your cell tissue, right? And that there's a study here for you, something to study, to think about, to contemplate. But who wants to deal with their feelings of unprocessed loss? Well, they're going to come up at the next real or perceived loss in your life. And loss and gain is just part of the cycle. Loss and gain! Comment below if you know the movie that's from. What do the Ascended Masters say to balance that? The piece of luck that you need to see, that's right in front of you usually, the piece of healing that you need to embrace, or the piece of grace that you need to allow in. Breathe. My Ascended Masters, let's just deal with this card of loss. Everything previous is a perfect lead up to this, so please, what is the piece of luck, the piece of healing, the piece of grace for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, this full moon in Pisces? I'll take, no, put it back into new moon next. In Virgo, September 2020, really to balance this loss, to help heal this loss. What have you got for them this new moon to full moon next? Irresistibility. A luck card. That there is something irresistible going on about you, coming from you. I will say, there's something about queens. Drag or otherwise. A little irresistible. A little irresistible there. There's a magnetic power. I think that's what I'm really going for here with this. If this is really you, and look, I could see a guy watching, he's like, oh, the queen archetype. It's like, the queens keep the law. The queens keep the court. If you think about it, not just the court like the legal court, but the courtiers, right? Like, who comes to court? What's courting all about, right? So there's a magnetic divine feminine thing here that draws to you what? The queen is not necessarily thought of someone without jewels, right? Without wealth, but yet a huge responsibility. And from that, to be able to use that benevolent authority to protect others. That there's almost, well, a role of leadership. They just gave me that word. But one of really leading by example, right? And being that magnetic force while you are going through this process of transformation. There's something here that you need to be aware of how irresistible this is, that it's really something good for you. It's really something that's a healing thing, no matter how painful that may be. I mean, releasing emotional baggage through the purification by fire, gracefully though, can make you very irresistible. I mean, look at the people who have suffered, who have gone on to, in a way, be not just great leaders, innovators, artists. Like, what good art totally comes from always gain, right? Let's keep going. I could philosophize a touch. You think? Yeah, much. Let's ask. Here we go. Our healing tool, the MatCon healing mantra deck. Let's ask the Ascended Masters, because they've given us this card of loss and this card of irresistibility, the problem and the luck to heal it. Something irresistible. I can't really put my finger on that, but let's go deeper. Let's ask them, what is your perfect healing mantra that you most need this new moon, full moon to new moon next? You know, it takes me a few signs before I get that down. Breathe. Even if I say it wrong in the prayer, they know. My Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity for this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. This full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo. What is the healing prayer they most need? The healing mantra, right? Even that they most need to contemplate, they most need to think about, they most need to, what? Study, perhaps, for their well-being, for the well-being of all. This full moon in Pisces to new moon next in Virgo, September 2020. Discovering happiness. I allow myself to be content exactly as I am. Rock and roll. It's a wonderful mantra. I've had it, obviously. I really didn't. I mean, I will look it up and read it, because that's what I do here on my channel here for these, because there's tidbits in there that might be helpful. But it does make sense for the queen. Just to be content exactly as you are, and know that in that there is that learning and that study that's happening, that's perhaps releasing some things, purification by fire. I allow myself to be content exactly as I am doesn't mean you avoid a thing. It's not about emotional bypassing, but there's a way of moving through this gracefully, even though there's going to be some pain of loss in this, most likely, but it makes you irresistible. Like, that's the luck of it, somehow dealing with this by allowing yourself to be content exactly as you are, discovering happiness. I allow myself to be content exactly as I am. When happiness is discovered, you are inspired, excited, and passionate about the gift of being alive. There is a willingness to open your heart to the mystery of each moment, whether you're getting what you want or witnessing unexpected outcomes. And I think that's where the loss comes in. And that might be part of the emotional stuff in the body. Remember, you don't have to like sit there and analyze it, and you don't have to like go through hell for it, but just to kind of open your heart and make the prayer, right? Both to Kuan Yin and Archangel Michael, because they're both talking about essentially the same thing. The discovery of happiness frees you from needing life to bring you more of this or less of that. The true joy of being yourself has dawned. And that's the irresistibility part of this. When loss and grief are processed, it's another mantra here, processing grief from this deck. My losses prove how deeply I loved. That is love that doesn't remember what it is, grief. So to give it love, to feel it, to allow it to move through you, even through tears, through rage, what have you, just don't hurt anybody, yourself included. It's like, it electrifies the magnet. It's electromagnetic. Boogie, oogie, oogie. Okay. This mantra is ideal for facing disappointment, maybe through loss, possibly, developing self-approval, and feeling fulfilled. It's a lovely mantra. It really is. I allow myself to be content exactly as I am, and that really is such a gift of love to yourself if you're always like having to be on. work, family, relationships, what have you, to just kind of say, you know what, I allow myself to be content exactly as I am, and if that means I'm going to cry my eyes out, well, then that's going to be part of this healing process. This is really a very, I almost want to say mathematical read, in that it all adds up, right? Like, nothing is so out of whack here to be a non sequitur. Like, and then paint your forehead green and your heart chakra purple, and just see what it happens. Breathe. The higher selves of all involved. The higher selves of all involved, through the Whispers of Love Oracle, please, one card in clarity. For this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, last card down for this full moon in Pisces to new moon next. Did I say that? Full moon in Pisces. New moon next in Virgo. Please, the higher selves of all involved, one card in clarity. Again, in all of the pantheons are talking about the queen archetype needs to be alchemized. The angels are talking about call to the angel of study, that there's something to be learned here. Will help them study as well as get them the information that they need, or whatever they need to assist them in that study. Archangel Michael talking about oromasis here, oromasis, this purification by fire. Kuan Yin, the call of the dancing crane to move through this emotional, perhaps muddy emotional stuff in the body with grace, with movement, right? That maybe physical movement is part of this for Taurus would make sense to help them process the problem of loss. Perhaps, according to the Ascended Masters, showing them the luck of their irresistibility, and maybe there's an irresistibility, a lucky irresistibility with the study of all of this. They're just inexorably drawn. They just needed the little piece of information to put it together, to allow themselves to be content exactly as they am, which is the most loving thing they could probably do for themselves, let alone everybody else around them. What is their message? Their piece of insight, inspiration, or information from the higher self collective, the higher selves of all involved, this full moon to new moon next September 2020 for the Taurus collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. September 2020. I love it. Slow down. What does a yellow light mean? Slow down. When you are excited, you get ahead of yourself. Take some time and allow things to unfold. Now remember, Taurus really has two speeds. Stop and go! Charge! Toro, right? Slow it down. Slow down. Allow yourself to be content exactly as you are. Does that mean that you don't go to work, stop doing your responsibilities? Probably not. You're an earth sign. But that you can slow it down. I have said to people, like I've even said to I have a Facebook group. The Mark Angelo Lyons Mal for short Facebook group. So if you want to find out, because I usually stream every day, but there are days where I am burnt crispy. Will do my best. But the readings are slowed down because I need to slow down, and everybody's very loving and very accepting, and we're all in that place somewhat on planet Earth to an extent. But for what do I need read, this absolutely makes perfect sense for an Earth sign, let alone a Taurus. So let me put it together for you. We do have the Queen archetype here from the collective pantheons to be able to deal with this with the regal divine feminine, right? Radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect people. And maybe some of that protection, let's jump around, come here, is slowing down, right? That when you get in, when you are excited, you get ahead of yourself, take time to allow things to unfold, and that excited can very much be off with their heads when your authority is challenged, right? But there is a purification by fire here, according to Archangel Michael. And Kuan Yin is saying you can move through this gracefully. Call upon her help. Call upon his help, by the way. That was in there too, right? That there is something that you are learning here, something that you are studying, and it may not be such a textbooky kind of thing, although you may pick up a process, a technique here in this moment. I'm a teacher, right? So I'm a born teacher. So there's a bit of that study going on here right now about dealing with loss, that the problem is loss in one way, shape, or form. I mean, the person's heart is cut out behind them on the path, right? But there is something irresistible in this, making you more irresistible, which just feels like the more we process that loss, the less anxiety-ridden we are, the more, well, look at it this way. How irresistible is someone filled with anxiety? You want to resist them as much as possible. Usually that's give them space because that's what they need, right? And that you're able to then discover happiness here. That you need to discover your happiness, allowing yourself to be content exactly as you are. Brilliant, brilliant read. So here, I'll give you the prayer, the blessing. Breathe. May this Taurus collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need this new moon to full moon next September 2020, that as they go through the purification by fire, they slow down, alchemizing the queen archetype into that protective, benevolent, divine, regal, feminine, discovering happiness, allowing themselves to be content exactly as they are, discovering their irresistibility as they process and heal loss through a process of learning and study, moving through it gracefully, according to Kuan Yin's call of the dancing crane for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. That was a good one. Quickie prayer, too. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I love doing these What Do I Need reads. They're not as complex as the other relationship-based, so you notice I space them out with these. I take breaks. So please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and help other people get them. They really are a form of spiritual counseling in a way that's general enough, right? And free on YouTube, right? Thank you so much for watching. Hail. Farewell. And may you be blessed. Blessed, blessed be this new moon. This full moon to new moon next. Hail. Farewell and blessed, blessed be.